Hello and welcome to Noise with Ivan. Um, this is an odd tasting cigar. I dealt with some weird fatigue. I had had a little bit of a stomach thing, and then following that stomach thing, kind of during that stomach thing, of course, but following it as well. I couldn't do anything. I was ex absolutely exhausted, so I was trying to sleep as much as possible. And in between sleep, it was a lot of reading, a lot of listening, a lot of good stuff going on. Of course, I recorded a Noise with Ivan, as you can see. Everybody was like, "What? What are you doing talking about Gary Glitter?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm probably not at 100%, but I feel good." So I decided now is the time. I've listened to some things. Now is the time to say I'm all right. Drink coffee. Coffee is the number one thing that I've been very excited about the whole time I've been sick. I have a exciting cup of coffee, but I also have water. All right, I want you to let. There is ants in this, but you should be hydrating. Whether there's ants in it or not. Gates of Hypnos is on a whole new wavelength because Gates of Hypnos had to move from the Gates of Hypnos Bandcamp page to GOH Recordings, which is the new Gates of Hypnos Bandcamp page. So it's really exciting, I think, for Shremo, of course, and artists such as myself and Chris Brooks, who has a new release coming out, and I'll get to that in a second. It's really exciting to see a new set of music, a new collection kind of coming forward. Of course, you can go to the original Gates of Hypnos page and get all those releases that came out previously for $11. They're done. We're done forever. There's no more Gates of Hypnos releases on the original Gates of Hypnos page, which is, oh, I'm sure sad, but really it's exciting. And I hate every time that I get the new discography that I have 1,000 releases and I can't scroll in my Bandcamp page. I can't scroll beyond like what I had bought before I bought that. But I have been active on Bandcamp recently. There's been a lot of um, recommendations from friends, but one of the thing that was something that I got to listen to before I sent it over to Premo and um, started getting it ready to be released. Of course, I'm going to be working on a new spindle of CDs soon after following the Consecrated Subjection archive, which sold out. Thank you so much for that, by the way, everyone. Yeah, that was a successful release, and I'm excited to see what comes next. It could be older stuff that we release, but this is something that's definitely going to go on release as the new Chris Brooks project. It's amazing. I just sat and listened to that, and I was in a whole other world. The sound design is incredible. The atmosphere is incredible. All the noise is super tasteful, and he uses a lot of melody. The first track has kind of a shoegaze guitar thing going on and looped guitar. And that just put me in such a creative headspace because I have not looped guitars in such a long time, and I always love it when I hear it. But I don't work in the same way that I used to with a looper. I used to use a looper all the time. Um, I made Portraits of Cain, which I'm thinking about remastering and putting on the new Gates of Hypnos and putting on CD as well, um, because it was only ever on YouTube. So it'd be really cool to remaster that and bring it out. Of course, there are other projects that I'm working on now, but you can kind of bring back some other things so that you still have movement as far as your personal discography goes while you're working on a new project. You can still put something out there, like the Taylor's versions, you're like, did she put something out? Not really, but it's something. There's something there. If you're a fan, you'll probably listen to it, you know. So I still got stuff coming out, which is good. Well, I'm taking forever to actually create something, but that makes me want to create something. The looped guitars. It's just nothing that I've used recently. I haven't worked that way recently. I haven't really used guitars like that recently. I've used a lot of acoustic guitar, a lot of strumming. So I'm just so excited. But I figured because I've been listening to so much stuff and I had so many friends reach out with recommendations, um, and I was just talking to people about stuff. It wasn't even a recommendation thing. It was just all kinds of conversation. Well, I've been back here being sick, being lazy really is what it is. I decided to, fire up, get all the stimulants going again, record Noise with Ivan, talk about what I've been listening to while I've been in bed. Go ahead and roll the intro. So Silverdove reached out to me. He's getting me ready for an ambient noise wall phase. He recommended Kuraheki, who is an artist that was on Gates of Hypnos, an album, and I wouldn't be able to say the name anyway, but it has fish on it. And that obviously reminds you of the Ushino Warita Tamashi releases. These are these amazing, if you haven't heard them, you have to listen to them. Ambient noise walls. Silver Dove, and of course that's where I took the conversation. Silver Dove said that he was probably his favorite ambient noise wall artist of all time, and he is awesome. And Silver Dove had done a tribute to him called Haikai, and that was a really great release as well. But zoom out for a second. If you haven't heard Shinen, this album is a must listen. You have to hear it. It is so important that you hear it, and it's so important that you use quality headphones. I have had my Audio Technica headphones, which have kept me very, very excited about listening to noise recently, and just excellent. You could do like if a real nice speaker setup, but honestly, headphones that just feel like you're putting on an astronaut helmet. Go in there. Go in there, get your brain in there. Another thing that has that kind of Japanese style is Shishinote. And I had a little bit of a Sergei Pakhomov phase. But the Shishinote releases, they are very bifurcated, there's a lot of pressure in them. People call them pressurized noise walls. I tend to go with the term bifurcated, but bifurcated sometimes I'll use that and really mean pressurized, so I'll say pressurized. And these are interesting and intricate and complex, yet they're a little bit more traditional than what you're getting with Tamashi because yeah, they're a little bit more traditional. There's more broad, more crunchy, crispy, more along the lines of what you're thinking when you're thinking of noise walls in general, as opposed to something that's very, very ambient and very, very atmospheric, something that makes you feel like you're underwater. But those as well, like right underneath Samashi, those are important to listen to. So give those two a listen. It just puts you in a whole nother headspace, as well as his release, Haikai. That's completely new to me. I only listened to it just today. But the second, and also, I love how much harsh noise, because most of what I've been listening to recently has been harsh noise, even though I had a extreme ambient noise wall phase. And putting these on when you've been listening to a lot of harsh noise is really, really, really fantastic. So yeah, but that's the great thing, is just this diversity, right? The diversity of listening to this kind of music and then listening to that kind of music. Um, I love how much diversity I've had, even just today, but really in the last week. You talk to this friend and they're talking about this band, and this friend and they're talking about this noise wall. But I grabbed the Sergei Pakhomov Noisolation series. Now this is very much kind of going away from the all the pressure that you had in the other ones. This kind of falls along the lines of lowercase. Now, a lot of this stuff is considered to be lowercase. Doesn't quite strike me as lowercase like this strikes me as lowercase. It's kind of lowercase, okay? But it's also a lot of field recordings. And I don't know that I got them from his personal Bandcamp, but it seems like it would have been something that was on Nature Noise Wall. But it that series heavily utilizes field recordings, and I highly recommend it, as well as I also grabbed a Batum release. This was a lot of Batum release were on Wall Noise Action, so I didn't get them from his page. It's a little bit of a low rating on it, but I don't think that that's valid. I think it's a straight 4.0 intermediator. Intermediator, sorry, intermediator. I thought it was a really good release, though. Yeah, I don't think that that's okay at all. That's as low as it is. And Silver Dove has a new release as well that I didn't realize was out, and I want to recommend that. It's called No Such Thing as Love for, and then an ellipsis. And I believe it's a tribute. He's probably my favorite ambient noise wall artist. So I will go and grab a few things. He doesn't have the full digital discography like a lot of noise artists do. That release is not ambient noise wall, especially not like some of the other things that I've been talking about recently. It has a lot of things involved in it. It's very much an ambient release, but not straight ambient noise wall. And I was on the hunt, right? I think Sun Pandemonium was the release that I listened to recently that was very inviting toward a lot more electronic, maybe along the lines of glitch, but modern electroacoustic maybe, right? Experimental electronic music that doesn't quite fall into the territory of harsh noise, even though I want to listen to more harsh noise too. This is beautiful, absolutely tremendous. It kind of worked with I had the door open. I was listening. I wasn't listening to this on like with isolated headphones or anything like that. This was a little bit more passive listening, kind of close to that. Um, but very ambient, very abstract, not away from being noise, but it was a beautiful. It it was just beautiful, yeah, and melodic, melodic, but not. It didn't feel like anyone playing an instrument really. Um, so it just kind of put me in a wonderful place, and I started working on a score from that. That's a high recommendation from me, possibly to future me because I didn't listen to too much, but I want to listen to more, and I'm very into it. I would put this Sias Affixis, no bull one left behind. This was a great release, very mechanical, harsh noise. Ireland, from Ireland of all places, you don't really I haven't really heard very much harsh noise from Ireland, but I know that there's some good. I've heard some good releases from Ireland, but it's just not common, you know. Poland, Japan, States, just not Ireland. I haven't heard a lot from UK, but not a lot from Ireland. This is yeah, a heavily mechanical piece, tastefully diverse, and it's aggressive, but it feels polished. It's just a clean feeling record to put on. I heavily enjoyed it, even though it is harsh and it is grimy, you know, kind of in its own way. You're almost removed from it, you know. It may have been. It was just well put together, and I don't really like a whole lot of clipping generally, even though I do like harsh noise. Um, I like it to be kind of calm, not calm, but I like to be able to swallow it, I suppose. And one artist who I have worked with in the past and enjoy very much, that I got the chance to listen to this week and have been planning on listening to, is The Angel of the Enemy. His first release. It's been a while since I've listened to his sort of debut release, and I grabbed a few things from his discography this week. It's another one. He's another one of those guys that does not have his stuff as a full discography, so I have to kind of cherry pick every time I want to listen to him. What do I want to add to my collection? And oh, The World Wants War. I kind of bought everything up to that point, because it was before I knew him that he released those, and it's interesting for me to listen to. This is incredible power electronics, strong vocals, heart-wrenching, upsetting, psychotic. You can tell that this is a front man. Like this is incredibly powerful. And the beginning of it, and I know that it's not just the first few tracks. I know that every individual track is very diverse, and that's one thing that I can say for the Angel and the Enemy and Carbon Sun alike is that these these guys are putting a track together and then putting another track together. This is not an improvisational approach. A lot of the times if you get harsh noise from me, the whole thing was done in one day. These guys are not like that. These are Angel of the Enemy stands out as a power electronics artist, and Carbon Sun stands out as a oh you know noise. It's a little bit closer to what I do, but he definitely leans towards shoegaze, where I might do I I don't know. Oh, I can't express to you how excited I am about that new release, but I'm also excited about this old release. Um, and this has strong panning, harsh, and it's very very well put together. Um, in the fifth track specifically, it really blows up though, and the panning is still there, but not dominant like it was, and the vocals were not there. Um, no, I'm thinking fourth track. The fourth track kind of forsakes the strong panning and is a lot more harsh. And then the fifth track goes right back to where there's a lot of emphasis on vocals. But it turns into being very musical, maybe even going toward like what would you get Carbon Sun with vocals, you know? Um, it becomes kind of a little bit more of a black metal project, and I have always attributed the Angel of the Enemy to be something of a black noise artist, especially when him and I worked together on Horse Bath and Black Helix, the two extra tracks that we collaborated on. Really did have a heavy musical kind of black noise. I don't want to say symphonic black metal because symphonic black metal tends to have good production, and this was grimy, but like atmospheric black metal kind of thing, except black noise really. Still kind of maintained being noise, but I still regret that. I had done this beautiful orchestral composition on there, and then I added all this noise, and I don't know if I ever could find the session to take all of that off. I think I had committed the tracks or something, and I still regret. I thought it needed to have distortion because we're going on a noise label with this, but I should have probably left it. And it sounds cool. It sounds cool. It's okay. He still has, and I'm longing to listen to Tristidia still, but there's a lot of releases that he has available, and none of his stuff is rated. He has zero. There's a couple ratings on, if you go to rate your music for the Angel of the Enemy, and listen, guys, I know the rate your music is stressful. You don't have to add releases. I'm gonna stop adding releases. I just want to rate stuff right now. I just want to give stuff ratings, listen to stuff, share stuff with friends, be a fan. Really the overproduction and self-aggrandizing nature of harsh noise. We're all doing our own thing. Is really really slows harsh noise down and noise artists from being able to move forward, because when you enjoy other people's work, you can see what's in that. Like I'm seeing all the things that Carbon Sun did with this new release and all the things that the Angel of the Enemy did with his even just his debut release. I can see those things and I can kind of put that toward a new project. And it's Silver Dove, just the same. Silver Dove blows my mind. And all the releases that he likes blow my mind as well. I think files are so great. And the only reason that they're not, that we don't love them like we love cassette tapes, because cassette tapes have that feel like, here you go, man, I got this on cassette. They have that feel. But files are where it's really at. I mean, everything's a file. It's the modern era. It's the 20s, okay? We're using files. We're all sending wave files and FLAC files to each other. Why can't we enjoy that? Why can't we embrace it? You know? Why can't we really like the fact that we send each other files? Why can't we enjoy our file collections? Well, because it's a whole lot easier to curate your physical collection. You can organize them really easily. It doesn't have to be organized in alphabetical order, you know? But if you are familiar with this show, you know that I made a massive collection of noise walls, and it took me forever. And I know that there's many more harsh noise walls that I would like to and should put on the MP3 player, but I just don't have the energy to do it. But again, I would still like to have something for punk rock, and there's a lot of grindcore bands and things like that that I would love to put. And one of those things that took me kind of back to that was Fake Dust. My buddy Tristan from RYM was talking about this band. We were talking about drums. He recommended the Ministry album, which had great programmed drums, and I'm a little bit familiar with programmed drums. If you've heard Superheroes Club, but I'm not good at it. I just freestyled, just did something. By the way, shouts out Dead Serious Richmond Hardcore. They have not been a band for a long time. The really good Richmond band was from forever ago was Honor Roll. If you get the chance to listen to them, if you see them anywhere, if you see those recordings anywhere, check them out. They're awesome. Fake Dust. This is what Tristan recommended to me. Fake Dust. He started with Foot Village. Foot Village is nothing I've ever heard of before, but there's this incredible YouTube video, and I'll add it to the. I got this new playlist going on. If I don't know if you guys have noticed that at the end of the videos, I put a playlist of the stuff that I've been talking about on here, and I just put all the music on there. Mostly full albums, but I'm sure I'll end up adding some things like this video there. It's a lady screaming, and then some dudes screaming, and they're all screaming, and then drums start, and this lady has a megaphone, and then she starts screaming through the megaphone, and the drums are incredible. It starts off. I love like when the Melvins had Big Business with them, and they had the two drummers, and there's a documentary, Another State of Mind, about social distortion and Youth Brigade. They all went on a school bus, and I don't remember why I referenced it. Oh, there was a part in it where they played Wipeout with two drummers, and I was like, wow, pretty sweet. I love a lot of drummers, but this wasn't even two drummers. This was a lot of drummers. This was like three or four. The girl ditched the at a certain point the girl ditched the megaphone, gave it to one of the homies, and then she started playing drums. So everybody's playing drums, and it's pretty sweet. So that was something that he recommended to me that was absolutely off the chain. I listened to a split by them with Black Pus, and Black Pus had a lot of the same thing of female screaming, these crashing female vocals, but also a lot of modulation on the drums and a lot of kind of experimental electronic music happening in there. It was very out there. And then when Foot Village just takes the second side of the split. This was a very good split, and I highly recommend it. It becomes kind of a harsh noise project. It wasn't the clean drumming that you got on the YouTube video, the clean drumming and screaming. It was it turned into harsh noise because the drums were so distorted, and it was a very, very, very good split. That's what I can tell you about it. And that's it, except for Black Dust. We went on to talk about drumming a little bit, and Black Dust, Fake Dust. Fake Dust is one of the greatest death grind bands, kind of grindcore death grind type stuff going on. I grabbed the tour promo and the other promo, but they have another album coming out. There's a Portland band. They have an album coming out called Decreptizing Den of Cerebral Psyopticon. Now, I don't know if I like the cover as much as I like the cover of the demos. The cover of the demos is very nostalgic, and I love their logo. I wonder if I can get a sticker. I would love a sticker. I love the logo. The logo is amazing. But yeah, they have a new album coming out, and we're all very excited about it. Um, but yeah, that's one of these grindcore bands that's very exciting right now. Another one of those ones that makes me want to get like kind of an MP3 player going, put all the stuff on there. Thank you so much for all your support. Everything's been going very well. If you are interested, there are new CDs coming out. I'm gonna actually schedule this out a little bit. I was thinking about doing Fridays. Not gonna do that. Um, it didn't work out. It's never worked out well when I try to do Fridays, as opposed to just putting them out in advance. And I can say right now that there are a few CDs coming out that I'm very excited about, that we're all very excited about. So check out Not of the Flesh. And the mystery box, I have already taken out some of I've worked on removing some of the things that were a little bit too consistent in there, and I've taken a lot of stuff off inventory and put them in the mystery box so that it's quite a bit more diverse, and some of the dead stock that's on the inventory is in the mystery box, and I'm gonna try to fluff it up a little bit. So maybe I'll do a sale on the mystery box because, well, when it's got a lot of good stuff, it's not really a good time to do a sale. But the mystery box is shaping up nicely, and I really like it because it's like a second collection. Thank you so much for watching Noise with Ivan, for listening to all of our releases. Godspeed.